Hi, I'm Stacy Beck. Welcome to Studio Chatter. Looking for a new summer swimsuit? We've got some ideas for you.
I'm Angela Euler. We'll talk about how to spruce up your personal brand through photos.
And I'm Angie Murphy. We'll also talk with a local woman that is making a difference in Ukraine.
This is going to be a wonderful conversation. All this and more on Studio Chatter. Welcome to Studio Chatter. Look at that, our Angela Euler is back with us today.
You have become...
I'm going to keep coming back. Who doesn't want to cheer?
Right?
And Natasha's fine, just so everybody knows. She had a family event, and we're like, Natasha, you go to...
I think it was Hope of America, if I'd like to say, and that just brings a lot of pride. Hope of America. I love that.
That's a fun thing to go see for your kids. So thank you, Angela.
Yeah, you're a dear for coming again.
I love it.
Okay, good. You're regular.
Give me an update of your lives in the last 2 weeks, ladies.
Go ahead.
You're new, you're fresh. We're like,
I've been painting my house.
You're still remodeling, right?
Yes, so we got the floor in, and now I've been painting, and it needs 3 coats, and you guys, the repetition of I'm like, oh, is this
that's the worst.
But it is so rewarding for me when I'm done, and I'm like, this looks so good, and I did it.
Painting is one of the most rewarding.
Yeah, because you see such a big transition.
Yes.
So, yep.
Fun.
And it smells pretty and clean and nice. I love that.
And then I put new rugs in, and
so new floors, new rugs, new paint.
Yep.
Feels like a new house.
And I'm like, I don't even know how many things I want to put back up. You know how you take everything down, and I'm like, this just looks nice and clean. You know, your walls are clear.
When you move into a house, that's enough.
Yes.
Then a couple weeks or months go by, and you're like, okay, I'll put something here and there, and then
and then after 5 years, you're like, okay, we're starting to look like that. Do we see the color on the wall still?
Yeah. Well, that's fun.
That is fun.
So
that's fun.
The goal is before the end of school, so we got to get everything done.
Got a couple weeks.
Because then, when the kids come home and Dylan's got his big ghillie suit on, you know what a ghillie suit is?
No.
It's like, do you know what they are?
No, I don't.
It's like a camouflage, but it looks like a bunch of yarn.
I do.
A bunch of yarn, and they hide.
They're so funny.
But he'll go out, and they knock on people's doors, and then they hide, and no one can see
It's like a big camel fluffy
But it looks
suit.
It looks like long strands of yarn.
Yes.
Like I'm sure it gets everywhere.
Monster. But he comes home and sticks are falling and dirt's falling, and I'm trying to paint. So yeah,
so
by the end of school, we gotta have it done.
That's fun.
Oh, perfect.
Angie.
I don't know what I've been doing, guys. I feel like I've been super busy, like really busy.
But you got good news at work.
Yeah, I did. I'm probably going to be cutting back. Well, I am eventually. We're getting someone, and so I am going to 3 days a week, which I'm happy about. I don't mind doing both, but I really have been thinking about it, and I have been not vocalizing it, and then they came to me, and it was just super kind. So I feel like a good balance, because my day off was just so full of just everything that I needed to do, and I have a day to just decompress and be.
Nice.
Oh, everybody needs that.
Yeah, super great. Super excited about that. Though I fill it up with stuff.
Well, yeah.
I just went through my text barely when I got off work, and it's like showers, graduations, weddings, people coming home from missions. I mean, it is full, guys.
Full already.
We're having preschool graduation for the grandkids on Friday, so I had to get leis made for them, and it's just fun. Yeah, really fun stuff.
Isn't it crazy though to think back when we were married? You maybe registered even it's somewhere on Main Street. Here in Spanish Fork back in, I've been married 33 years now, and I remember being registered at a store on Main Street.
Here in Spanish Fork?
Yeah. But now you hop on Amazon that ships it directly to them. You don't even need to take a gift to the wedding.
No, I never do anymore.
So they don't have to haul it around.
I know, clean up after weddings now. I've had a couple kids with Amazon. The packages all arrive. You just have a couple things after the wedding and you're out.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's mainly like cards and money that you get at the wedding.
But when I go to a shower,
I try and bring a gift.
I like to have the gift with me.
Unless I'm late going, and then I'll just ship it to them.
Yes.
Yeah.
But you feel like you can show up.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Times have changed.
Times have changed.
Yes, totally, guys.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm excited for summer. I'm just starting to like think about trips and different things. I planted some flowers, and I know it was a week early, and my friend Tandy Twitty would have told me to wait till Mother's Day, but I did it anyway, and it snowed on them. But they're still alive.
Are they hardy?
Yep, they are
good
just
for
fine.
you.
Good.
I
Yep.
haven't planted anything yet. What a crazy spring it's been.
Crazy.
And we can't complain. We need it so
Yeah.
Well,
badly.
that's why it's called the month of May. It may be 70, it may be freezing.
Oh, I've
It
never
may
heard
be
this.
snow, it may be rain. We don't
I
know.
love that. We're
I
in
love
Utah.
that. Well, I found a day that was like 72 outside, and we had put our hammocks up on our deck, and I just went and got in it, and that's
nice.
my happy place. Like in January and February, I could see my deck out there, and I'm like, that's where I just want to go. Because in the summer, I'll just go get in the hammock, and
Your
if I don't
deck
have
is so
something,
cute
I
out
just
there.
I'll sit out there for like 3 hours,
Oh, that's
and just listen to
awesome.
my audiobook or read. So I found that I had 20 minutes in the hammock on the deck on a day that was 72, and I'm like,
And that's
this-
perfect.
yes.
Not too hot, not too
It's just-
cold.
And get
You're
some
just there.
sunshine after the whole winter.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
that felt
good.
good.
That's how I felt planting. It felt good.
Good.
Yep.
Well, I'm so excited. Looking at our lineup today, we have some powerhouses,
Oh,
we do.
it's gonna
We have
be
some
great.
amazing women on the show today.
and I only know one. So it's always fun to meet new people.
Right. Yes.
But this is going to be a fun,
Yeah, I'm
fun
excited
episode.
to hear about it. Yep.
So, all right, let's go.
Okay,
Episode
let's do it.
129. Okay. Next on Studio Chatter, ever hear of swimsuit that empowers you? Stay with us to find out more. Welcome back to Studio Chatter. Picking that perfect swimsuit can be a tough decision. Too baggy, too transparent. These are just a few of the issues in most swimwear these days. Let's solve this dilemma. Welcome Tiffany Roundy from Ruby Swimwear.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Hello, Tiffany.
We're excited to have you here.
Yeah, because I'm excited to head into spring, summer. Like, I feel like Utah is holding on to
Yes.
winter way
Yes.
too long.
So we're ready for this
So
season.
let's think about swimming and warm weather and beaches and
So beforehand, we were all trying to make connections. We all kind of know similar people. Tell us a little bit about you.
so I actually went to Spanish Fork High School, but I was born and raised in Salem, and I've lived there my whole life. And then as we have gotten married and had children, we've stayed in Salem.
Okay.
So yeah, that's me. I have a husband and 6 kids. So.
6 kids. And so
6 kids,
you
yes.
weren't busy, obviously, enough just
No.
with that. So you thought, let's make swimsuits.
Busy women like to be busier. I've
Yeah.
noticed this.
So I actually started. I started with going to school as an RN, and I went to school too young. No, just kidding. No, I just didn't realize my passions when I was younger, and then as I aged and had children, and I had one swimwear company, and then with busy kids, I took a break and raised kids, and
And then you came back.
then I came back.
So why swimwear? Oh, this is a good question.
Why not swimwear?
Actually, that's not what I wanted to do. I wanted to do I love home decor, I love clothing.
Okay.
But there's such a need in swimwear. And it's the most vulnerable place a woman can be. Because when you're out playing in the water or when you're with your family, you aren't in very much clothing, and it's really a vulnerable place. And so I struggled, because I'm really tall, I struggled to find stuff that covered and that didn't show things and that I could actually move and play in. And so in our family, we do a lot of like activities outside, and we spend a lot of time in Lake Powell and hiking, and it's just really hard, and it was really frustrating. So for my first swimwear company, I did a lot of sewing, and I just decided if I was going to do that again, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to find the best fabric and the best fit, and I really tried hard not to. I went to hundreds of different swimwear companies to see if I could find, because it's a lot of work.
Yeah. So you don't do the sewing now.
No. So I
design
do
that.
some sewing. Like if I need to present a sample to my manufacturer, I will have to sew.
Oh, wow.
Because they need a sample to
A template
Reference.
to start from.
to reference. And there's digital patterns and all those type of things, but it is so much better if they can have a physical sample.
And then you're
to
visually
hold-
saying, yes, this is exactly
Yep, this
how
is
I'd
what
like
I
it.
want, and this is how I want it to look, and how I want the back to look, and how I want it to fit. And so it takes a long process. You know, it takes some time doing the sampling and doing the fabric, and so we've done so many samples. So you get samples back from your manufacturers, and there's so many different runs. You know,
Oh,
you need
boy.
to take an
Oh,
inch
my
up
gosh.
here, you know, let it out here. And the interesting thing is we manufacture overseas, and so the hardest part has been converting into like centimeters, so that they can understand and really try to get that fit the way I want it to before I could present. And with COVID, it's been a whole new
Oh, yes.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah.
Supply and
and
having the
yeah,
workers.
and shipping and even so we are now in the third shutdown within our manufacturing plant.
Oh,
yeah.
Heavens.
Yeah, we had to
horrible.
pull it completely out of one. So we've kind of had some
Some
Yeah,
little
some,
setbacks,
like,
but then the
setbacks
big
and-
comes.
yeah.
So are you selling these online or?
yeah, so rubyswimwear.com.
Okay.
And I have an Instagram page that is ruby.swimmingsuits.
Okay.
And I'm not as good at social media. I'm trying hard to be better.
kind of the
need to
place
hire a
to be
Stacey.
is like
It
a
is.
necessary
Yes.
evil.
It is.
It
You
is.
love swimsuits, not the
I
social
do,
media part.
and I do love connecting with people, and I'm in this fun marketing class that is really it's
That's
been
perfect.
really
Helping
fun.
you.
Yeah,
Good.
and it's good.
So how long have you been doing this? How long have you, from when you did your first swimsuit?
So my
company to this
first,
one?
gosh, I've designed swimwear since like 2002, but I actually, my first company was in about 2006. And then I did that for 5 or 6 years. I did 2 lines, but we manufactured in the US. And it was different back then. You would go to trade shows and get fabric, and you would just kind of pick what they had, and unless you ordered hundreds of thousands of yards
Oh, yeah.
of fabric, then you could pick your own. But now I can design, I can,
Really?
like, you know, just different, like this toucan took us so long to just try and tweak it the way we wanted, and the palm leaves. So
pretty.
and it's just fun. It's a fun
back.
outlet to create.
Love the back.
So
What's your favorite thing about designing these?
You know, I think the funnest part is, well, I do love to create and to design, because seeing on paper, because a lot of times I cut out paper if I have stripes, I cut them out, and I'm very visual. But then as my graphic designer puts them on a print, it's fun to see. And then to get the sample back and to have it right is awesome.
Yeah, that would make me giddy. In
so
hand,
fun.
like,
Yeah, it's like,
That's
oh,
it.
it
Did it.
Well, Tiffany,
Yes.
you brought some darling models
Yes.
who are brave enough to come in and
I
show
know.
us what you designed. So will you introduce us
Yes,
to them?
we have Marley Jo, and
Love that.
she's wearing a crop, and she's also wearing a control top bottom. And
Oh my gosh, I love everything about
I know,
that.
it's so fun.
Yeah.
So this is not a one-piece suit.
Nope, this
my
is,
gosh.
it's 2 pieces, and it's got, they've got coverage cups in them, and then back it can cinch
The
up.
back is so great.
I know.
I
So
love
that
it.
one we actually had to do quite a few changes in the manufacturing,
really?
because they couldn't understand how I wanted it to.
The cinching.
Yep.
Yeah.
So-
And
So
I
that
love
is
that
adjustable
center.
then.
Yeah, so you can tighten it. The idea for the swimwear is I want women to be able to be with their families in the water or their loved ones all day long and have it comfortable. So the fabric is really thick, it's soft, it's you just have to
Well,
have
even
to
your
experience
design
it.
to have that come all the way up and
Yep.
hold
Because that's us.
all my
That's
innards
women.
in.
Yeah.
Well, and then I have like a fun day around 3 or 4 on vacation, a fun day. I get bloated and I've eaten too much, and I'm like, oh, I gotta say,
Hold that in.
So
Nobody
need
will
that.
know now.
And I love the ruby suit. I want people to just feel confident that they can put it on and be in it all day, but also have fun with their families.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I love
think
that.
that's super
Thank
important.
you.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Gorgeous.
Okay, so now we have Aaliyah. Aaliyah's my daughter, and I didn't know we could have 2, so I brought her with me. This is a cover-up, and also with a one-piece underneath.
And you're doing cover-ups as well.
There's some cover-ups, because I had a hard time finding cover-ups, and they adjust at the waist.
Oh,
And then
nice.
as you
I love the little.
As the week moves along, you can adjust.
You can, and it's nice because you can still feel covered, but it's not so heavy.
Totally.
So
Still seeing through
Kinda
to the
throw it
cute
on.
swimmer. Do we get to see the swimmer underneath?
Oh yeah, Leah, if you want to, just go ahead and
Oh, that's fun.
That is so cute.
Do you have a favorite style that you always have a go-to?
You know what? I haven't really.
darling.
Isn't that darling?
I've been really apprehensive about crops because the mom belly and all that kind of stuff. So I've been really worried about those. But how we've designed them, I've really had fun putting that into
Just
my.
shows just a little bit of
Yeah.
our special top. from
Yeah,
us.
it's been really fun.
I
That
love
top.
this.
It is so cool.
So what it does is so we have different styles, and I've had a lot of people say, hey, how do you want to do if you have a pear shape or something? My first advice is really just get in swimming suits, and if you feel comfortable, great. And then if you want to go from there, something that accentuates shoulders or minimizes bust, then we can talk
I
about
wouldn't
that
even
too.
know where to start with all of that. We would have to have you come back just to guide us on
Right.
that
I mean,
path.
that's a big path to go down.
Yeah.
But I
Consultation in that.
Yes.
But I think if we can just get comfortable and be
Right.
in swimwear that fits well.
Like, and if you have a larger bust, something that holds you in, your
Holds you
tummy
in.
holds you in, that just
Yes.
brings confidence.
Uh-huh.
And then you're comfortable with doing them.
Right.
Doing
And
the
one
activity.
thing that I've designed too is in the swimwear is they have floating bras, some of them. So for the larger chests, and I've made them just a little bit smaller so that there's not bulging. And you'll notice I don't have a lot of seaming.
No.
We've minimized seaming
Yes.
because every time you have a seam, you have a bulge. It doesn't matter how small you
It's
are.
true, it kind of sucks it in at
Uh-huh.
that place.
And I don't do elastic in the front because it's really unnecessary.
Okay.
And I do in the back because it needs to stay over our bums. But
But I love this. Then it
Look
doesn't
at the
pooch
back
in.
of this suit.
Yeah.
The back is darling.
Yeah.
And once
So-
again, a little adjustable
yep,
there.
you can adjust that however to whatever comfort.
So with
From
this
the top.
specific style, the print, what body would that be best for? Or
You know
it
what?
just looks very slimming because of the angles.
So that's why I've designed that so that it brings your eye in. Always if you can do that, it's
You don't want stripes across.
a little bit better than having a
Horizontal lines.
Thank you.
Yes, yes.
Love
Yeah,
that.
so it's a nice visual.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Lee.
Okay, so what other
I love this
questions?
like little ribbing, like it's kind of like see-through, but it's not. And I think that she had.
She
this
did, and
like
you
that
just
too.
can't
You
see.
can't,
You
but it
can't
just
see.
adds like a little extra
Detail.
pop to it.
Design.
Yes,
Yeah.
I love that.
They're fun.
this
This,
one.
oh, I was going to say, I love this print.
Yeah, they're fun. Oh, we've got the little
tube
salt packets.
top.
So are all the designs? Do you have like 2 or 3 basic like patterns, I guess, and
You know
then
what?
the
I
prints are
actually
different?
have, let's see. I think I have 9 different styles.
Okay.
Okay.
And 5 different one pieces, 2 or 3 different tankinis and crops, and then 2 different bottoms. We have a high-waisted bottom.
Okay.
That's super popular with some of the younger generation.
Yes.
But then, these are my favorite. I've really designed for slimming and to look.
I
That's
love the high
fantastic.
top, but then this V.
This V that comes
Yes,
in.
it's slimming.
Yeah, so it's been fun.
What are the sizes?
Yes,
the
that
range
was-
of sizes.
I actually do have some kid sizing, but they do start from littles to teenagers. But our adult sizing is extra small, and that would be about a size 13 child, usually 00, and it goes all the way up to double extra large right now. And we're
Okay.
hoping to expand as we grow.
That's a good size range.
Yeah,
That
so
is.
we're
That really
trying
is.
to really help all women.
So I'm assuming when you get online to buy, if someone's a size 12, you would say get a
Yes, so
XL
I have
or
a size
L.
chart.
Okay.
So I have a size chart that says, and like your t-shirt size, and then
Okay.
your pant
Okay.
size, and
That's
That's
helpful.
always helpful.
Thank you for coming in.
Yes,
This was
thank you so much. This
fun.
makes me excited for summer.
Yes.
guys.
I know,
and we
Well,
can
here-
do
I have
it.
Lake Powell and California.
and we
so-
can enjoy our families.
Yeah,
Thank
we can.
you.
We should.
Yeah.
And good luck.
Hey, thank you.
Coming up on Studio Chatter, have you ever heard of a personal brand? We'll talk about that next. Welcome back to Studio Chatter. What story does your image tell? This is what our next guest specializes in, personal branding. Please welcome Bret Bennion to our table. Hi, Bret.
Welcome.
So you two were able to meet at a recent function.
Yeah,
Tell us a
and
little bit
we just
about
started
that.
talking, and she's like, I would love to come on Studio Chatter. But like when she started telling me what she does, I was, okay, tell me more. So this is why we wanted you here at the table, because we want to know
what is important about branding? Why is that
and is it just for business owners? Like, I feel like just the normal, not that everyone's a brand, but you kind of are your own brand.
Yes, you are. You 100%.
You hit it exactly right.
Okay, take it over from here.
If you have a business, if you are selling something, if you have a message to share, you are a brand. And a lot of times we don't think that, because we think of brands as big brands like Nike and Apple and Adidas and whatnot. But every single person has a personal brand. We think maybe your brand is your logo, your fonts, your colors.
Yes.
But that's not it at all. I always say your brand is your energy. It's what you bring to the world. So that can encompass your logo. It can encompass.
But it's how
your
you
products.
make people feel, maybe, and what you're putting out to the world.
Yes.
That's the whole
It's the
branding
whole thing, yes.
And that
It's your
connects you
energy.
with your audience or with your whoever's buying, your buyers or whoever.
Absolutely, that vibe. Because you can have somebody that's, I mean, think about how many people sell coffee mugs, for example, right? What separates you from this product A versus product B? It's really how you decide to approach the product, how you approach the brand, how you want to sell, your energy.
Right.
So you all have a personal brand. Studio Chatter has a personal brand.
We sure do, and we may need some help from you. What type of energy are
So we just
pulling?
had Tiffany from Ruby Swimwear on. And so if she starts a swimwear company, she's probably not thinking she's ever going to have to show her face or ever be on interviews, or you get into something for totally different reasons. But what you're saying is, honey, step it up, get out there. So how do you help women overcome that maybe fear or challenge of their know-how?
There is a lot of fear when it comes to showing your face, especially as women. Because a lot of times we've been told it's better for us to stay small, to stay quiet. But why it's important for you to be able to stand out in your brand and show your face is because it builds trust. When we think about what converts people from knowing about your product to liking your product and then trusting your product and buying it, it's that trust factor. We call it the know, like, trust factor. This is the very basics of branding and marketing.
Okay.
So what will it take for somebody to trust you? Well, your face. A lot of the times it's
true. I'll scroll down to About Us and see, like with a doctor or someone, do I trust what they look like? Are they behind their business?
Or maybe
'Cause
if not,
I don't know who it is.
Right?
Yes.
Do you help them share their story and
Absolutely.
that's how you build trust too?
Absolutely. It's that consistent trust, and it's that consistent understanding and seeing somebody. When you think about if you were going to buy one product from somebody you didn't know versus your best girlfriend, who's hyping it up all of the time, of course you're going to buy from your best girlfriend, right? So it's the same thing when you're building your brand. You want to do the exact same thing on social media, on your website, on media interview, things like this. Anything that you're doing, you're building a connection, you're getting people to know you, to like you, and of course to trust you, and then they turn into a qualified buyer.
Energy.
So what are the things, the steps that you take to help your brand?
To creating their content.
And we'll
or
take
what-
note for Studio Chatter.
Yes, here we go.
So I'm a brand photographer at heart. So I love working with women and capturing images that tell their story, show their energy, their vibe, and actually make them feel super confident. Like I said, a lot of times women, they don't feel confident.
Right.
How many people love getting their picture taken?
Yeah, none of you?
The side profile on the show is horrible.
But if you know how to take a good picture, which I've seen your photos, and you make all different sizes of women and different backgrounds look great.
Absolutely.
Beautiful. Yes.
You know?
Because every woman is beautiful.
Yes.
And every woman deserves to have their message shown to the world. And so for me, it's vital that we go through a process of understanding first the mindset behind why do you need to show up in the world? Okay. And what message do you have to share? And we get really, really clear on that, because if you've got cobwebs up in your head about like, oh, nobody wants to care about me. I just have a little tiny business. It doesn't, doesn't do anything. Or I have to lose 10 pounds before anybody cares about me.
I hear that a lot.
Or, oh, nobody wants to see my double chin. Or I'm too old, or I'm too young, or I'm too anything.
Right,
trying to know your people.
Yeah,
like
when I'm perfect,
Yes.
then I can show up.
Exactly.
Then I can show the world what I
Haven't
have.
we been taught that our entire
Yes.
lives as women?
Yep.
That you must be quiet and perfect and little. But think about how much power we're hiding in this world
Yes.
by listening to that voice.
And you can bring that out.
I bring that out.
So you bring that out in photography. What else do you do?
I help women create content, because that's another big issue that female business owners have, is we need content. Right now, content marketing is just the
Every
way to
day
go.
something new
I
on there.
honestly had not heard of it worded like that until we met.
Okay, so content marketing. Let's talk about content marketing for a second. Content marketing is a way to market your business through content. So it's
Like
very
pictures, lots of pictures,
There's
or
all sorts
videos,
of content.
reels.
Yes.
Okay.
Let's think about videos, shows like this, podcast episodes, blogs, articles, news, guesting on other people's
So really
platforms.
supporting other women, actually, like through you, we have you here, which we're just happy that you're here, but then this supports
Educating
you,
us, but then
and
educating someone else
yeah.
that comes to you for
It's just
it.
helping.
Yes.
Right.
But I think
Comes
all
full circle.
Yeah. Yes.
different avenues, like you're talking about, connects with different people. So
Right.
how important is that nowadays? I feel like our brains are just wired to like be, I don't know, entertained per se.
Yeah.
And how important is that in marketing your business?
Well, you want to be seen, you want to be known, but it doesn't mean that you have to be everywhere all the time. And we wear so many different hats in our businesses that you just don't have the ability to be everywhere. So what I do is I help women create a library of easily accessible content. So that when the time comes, they can have things to post, to talk about, to engage with, so we don't have to get our hair and makeup done every single day.
So you're not just taking pictures, though that's part of it, but helping them to write the words and to phrase it the right way, or when to post when, that sort of thing.
The whole brand strategy. It's not just about photos. Photos are just a part of it. Videos are just a part of it.
but maybe even the way you dress. You help with that, right?
Absolutely.
Because I could use that.
I know, I'm like, I just kind of want to hire you as my
Help me
assistant now
know
that I
what's-
know all of this.
Yeah, what are good patterns to wear when you do photography and colors and
for me, patterns are not really always great to wear.
so something plain.
Some
blocks.
solid block colors really
Okay.
show up best when
I'm so glad I'm in a solid right now,
Every
because if I
single
would have
one
showed
of
up in
us are
something.
We came prepared,
Yes, we
ladies.
I did not wear my chevron print tonight.
Well, I'm sure as you understand, when the camera looks at, for example, very small prints, it gets a bizarre effect. It's called a moire effect, and it looks like it's shimmering, or it just looks odd. It doesn't look very well fitted on your body. So stay away from really small prints, and also stay away from like really big bold prints, and then break all of the rules, because when it comes down to it, you need to feel confident, you need to feel comfortable, and you need to feel like you in your photos. So if you are big, bold, and beautiful, girl, you go be big, bold, and
So
beautiful.
then you wear the
'Cause
big
that
patterns
sells.
if that's what's going to make
Yes.
you, okay. That's what I was just thinking, like what if
Like be
someone
authentic
isn't?
to yourself.
Exactly.
Like what is that? So I think identifying what is it in you that you're wanting to sell or promote,
Right.
and then pushing
Yeah.
that energy, like
So Brit,
you
if
said.
our viewers are watching and like, hey, I want to connect with her, how are they going to connect with you?
The best way to connect with me is on my website, and that's just britbennion.com.
Okay.
On there you can find, there's 3 different ways to work with me, or to learn from me. You can work with me and hire me to do photography and brand strategy with you. I also have a podcast that you can listen and learn all of these things. So that's where you girls need to start.
Okay.
Go home,
Okay.
drive, and listen
Podcast.
to the podcast. It answers all of these
And they're on your
questions.
website.
And this is all on my website. And then I also do online courses, and I teach. I have a really cool membership program where women come together and we just create content for 90 minutes. So you don't have to feel like you're like scrolling and tapping and doing all the things and you don't even get anything done. You actually sit down,
We work together. I do real life coaching and feedback on the content.
My
you're
gosh.
I love it.
I love those three
Yeah.
options.
Yes.
That just pulled everything
I feel like
in
it
perfect.
simplified.
Yep, it just put it in a
my
package
thoughts
with a bow.
were. Yes, 100%.
Thank you. This was
Now we need to start a
fascinating.
business.
Yeah.
Or just brand ourselves, I guess.
Right.
It could work for you guys. It
Right.
can work for anything that you want to
So
do.
a service or a product, anything.
Yes, service, product, personal brand, larger brand. It just comes down to being able to show up consistently and confidently.
Thanks, Bret.
Perfect. Thank you.
Next, we'll talk with one local woman that is making an impact in a war-torn country. Stay with us for more Studio Chatter. Welcome back to Studio Chatter. Our next guest is well known in our community, but did you know that she is involved in the efforts to help the people of Ukraine? Let's welcome Mary Crafts to the table.
Hello. I know.
Welcome.
I'm just thrilled to be here. I see your advertisements all the time. I thought, gee, those girls look so nice, and here I am.
Here
We
you
are so blessed to have you. I was telling everyone that I was just listening to KSL 102.7 one afternoon, and I was listening, and you were being interviewed. And it just caught my attention, and I drove around in my car because I wanted to finish listening.
Which says a lot when gas prices are what they are.
This is true. $100 conversation. But anyway, I was just engaged with what you're doing, and so I reached out, and you're so kind enough to come on the show.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Especially when you offered, a different time than during the day, because I'm kind of booked from now into eternity during the day. And so, I could do this a little bit at your convenient time and my convenient time. The answer was, of course.
And you're from Spanish Fort.
I know.
I've lived here for 30 years, yeah.
30 years.
Wow, I
Isn't that
love it.
amazing? Yeah, we have a good town.
So, Mary, I did not listen to KSL.
Okay.
So, start from the beginning. What have you been doing in Ukraine?
Well, the short version, which is probably the long version for you guys, is that really I received a new direction for my life in January.
Okay.
And that direction was, instead of being about helping people release fear and embrace love and discover all of those things that are holding them back, which I've loved doing on my podcast, I kind of embraced a new mission, which is oneness. How to create oneness on our planet. And that, having that goal out there, has opened the doors to so many things for me. So the first week of March, when I was sitting watching the actual invasion happening in Ukraine, and there was that gentleman from the Ukraine the old gentleman who put his hands up on the tank.
Yes.
And just was not going to move. He was not letting that Russian tank in his country. And I just watched this, are they going to run over him? And then they just kept coming, because even the soldiers, if they didn't want to, felt, what will happen to me if we don't?
Yeah,
Yes.
they had to.
I will be, probably killed. My family will be killed. I have to continue forward. And so then he laid down in front of their tracks on their tank, and it just kept coming. And they're inside please move. I have to do this. And he wasn't. And so his family finally ran out and pulled him out of the way. And I thought to myself, you just need more hands on the tank. And if I really am about oneness, I can be those hands. And why not me? I'm retired, I'm 68, I don't have children at home, I don't have to show up to work, I don't have a gun to my head, I have the resources to buy a plane ticket.
And you're Superwoman?
I was just going to say,
all of that.
so what are you going to do? Walk over
Did you
here?
wear your
I
cape
heard
when
that
you went?
on her podcast. I can be the hands.
Okay,
I
but
know
what
it's
does
me
that
that
look
needs to
like?
go.
Well, I didn't know what it looked like. And so I first just thought, okay, I'm just going to go to Ukraine, I'm going to show up, and put me to work, or give me a gun.
my gosh,
I'm
Mary.
pretty good with the shotgun. I don't know about an AK-47, but I'm pretty good with the shotgun. And I really didn't know. I just thought I'm going to go. And as I looked into it, I talked to different organizations that were working in Ukraine, such as the Red Cross and UNICEF and the United Nations and different nonprofits, and they all asked the same question. Are you medical personnel?
Okay.
No. Are you ex-military? No. well, what is your special skill?
Did you tell me you could cook?
No, what I told him was, I give good hugs. Oh, I mean, that was for me.
And you know what? They can
baby, let me
All your wheelhouse.
Yes. that was my wheelhouse. And so they were like, okay, thanks, but don't come to Ukraine. You're actually going to be more of a hindrance than you are help.
Okay.
If you're not military or if you're not medical. But you can work in the refugee camps that are just on the border, and that will be great. So look into that. So I was going to go to Romania because so many people were helping in Poland. I felt like
Yes.
Romania needed help. And I was going to go to Romania, and I got my ticket from Delta, and I was like going to put my boots on the ground there. I'm going to take all my hiking boots and my gear and my headlamp and my whole stuff that I had to climb. Well, because I climbed Kilimanjaro 3 years ago, and so I had all that stuff.
Right.
And I'm like, I'm going to go. And then Delta said, I'm sorry, we've canceled flights to that city because it's too close to the border. I'm like, okay, perhaps this is a little dangerous.
Perhaps.
And I posted that on social media about, now I was not quite sure what I was doing. One of my girlfriends reached out to me, who is the founder and president of Exodus, and said, do you want to go with us? We're sending another mission over. I go, yeah. And she said, so we're flying into Bucharest in Romania. We'll have to all get in this small, tiny van and take it to the border. I didn't realize there were really, seriously, 9 of us in this little minivan. And I sat like this. And the guy, the driver, kept turning around and goes, anybody need to stop? And no one would say anything. So I'm like, it's not going to be me. I'm not going to say anything. No. And so I rode, and I had so many van rides like that in there, not moving for like 7 hours, that when I got home, my knees were like cantaloupe. They just were not.
So you got to these refugee camps, and how did they put you to work? What were you able to do?
Well, sometimes we just went to the border.
Okay.
And we just tried to see what we could do. Can we serve soup? Can we help people? People were coming in these buses, and one of the hardest things I witnessed was a car drive up to the border, and it was a father and his wife and 2 small boys. And they get out, and you can see that he's telling them that they must go. And she's just like shaking her head, and the little children are just clinging onto him. And like, no, papa, papa. And he realizes the only way that they're going to go across this border is if he leaves. And so he just turned to her, and he just shoved her. And then jumped in his car, tears, and he drove off. And they stood there and watched him until they couldn't see him anymore. And then this beautiful Ukrainian woman just took a deep breath, gathered her children, and turned, and they came across the border.
This is happening to real people, and I think that was my connection with you. We put it like so far away that this is maybe not reality, but it's really happening, and they really need our help.
And when I actually was in some of the refugee camps, I worked in a church that had been turned into a camp. And it's amazing the questions that they had for me. And in fact, I sometimes, it made me really quite humble. No one ever asked me, are you from the U.S., or referred to me as the United States, or anything like that. They would say, how are things in America? And they would say it with this reverence that I used to have in first grade when you'd sing, America, and the tears would come down my eyes and my dad's eyes, who served in World War II.
Pride for
They were
our
just
country.
saw it, and I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm from America. And they would ask questions like, is there war in America? No, we don't have war. How do I go to America? At the time, we were closed to immigration from Ukrainian refugees. And then since then, that's opened up, but the process is like grinding.
So hard.
And one person said to me, does half of America hate us and half of America love us? And I said, tell me about your question before I answer that. Where's that coming from?
Right.
And she said, well, we know Trump likes Russia, and half of your country likes Trump. And we know half of your country doesn't like Trump, and so we figured those people must like us. And when I understood her question, this is how I answered her. I said, we are very divided politically, and we have been separate, us and them, for several years, and it's just getting worse. But on this, on you, it does not matter what party you are. We have come together. And we are united once again as a country to serve you.
That's beautiful.
Isn't that interesting? Almost the silver lining of this great tragedy that we're witnessing is you're seeing compassion come out when people just a year or two ago were seeing riots and burning of towns all over the U.S.
It just puts everything into perspective, I think. That you were saying like that they had nothing, and when you came back, that culture shock of like almost judgment towards people who had things and focused on things.
Yeah, they didn't want to open up their world. Wait a minute, don't let those refugees in here.
Right.
You know, we got to protect what we have. And that attitude for me, I was headed to the studio to record when I heard this talk to the governor, and this woman was complaining about letting refugees into our state. And I stayed in people's homes that had nothing. And yet they opened them to us. We slept on their floors, they gave us blankets. They made the B&B, what we called the B&B, broth and bread. And that was all they had, but they gave it to us.
Wow.
They wanted us to have that. And
what's our fear? Have you
I think
found?
it's a scarcity fear.
I was going to say that
we get wrapped up in afraid of not having enough ourselves. And so we are afraid that we think if we hold it tighter to us, that we can protect what's ours. And I'm worried about feeding my family too, you know. But in this position, how can we possibly receive? It is only in this position of the same as we give, we are also in the position to receive. And that's how I want to live my life. And that's why I went, that's why I'm going back. What I've realized is that the more I give, the more I receive.
What do you want to do when you go back?
Taking a computer, I couldn't find a computer there. I'm taking a hotspot, I couldn't find any access to internet. And I'm going to help women process, because the men aren't there, help women process visas and get in.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Found a need.
I know very, very clearly what I'm doing.
Now, so to come here, to come to America, is that what, or just to process to get them other places?
Any place.
Any place.
Yeah. And we've opened up 100,000 spots for those refugees now. I think we need to move that to about 500,000. There are 5 million of them.
I know.
Yeah,
And
we can
that's
step up a
such
lot
the
more.
European Union, I mean, Poland, we were in Moldova as well. And they have received more refugees than the population in their country.
Oh my.
That's insane.
And they have given to the point they have nothing else to give. They can't feed themselves now.
They need help now.
They need help.
But our country's willing to let 100,000 people in.
And so
It's a little bit
But if every
embarrassing
country
to
would
just say
take a
that.
little bit, then we could all help each
All
other.
help.
Because I think it's scared for the next time around, then what happens? And I feel like people are moving towards that America feeling. They need that.
I wear this around my neck every day and I never take it off. And this is a European euro with the number 1 cut out. It's just a single euro. But it reminds me every day when I hold it that I am only one. But one is enough to make a difference. And that's what I ask us all to do.
Thank you, Mary.
So much.
Thank you.
That's
You're
beautiful.
welcome.
You have so many stories to tell. We're going to come back to you.
Yeah, we are.
Okay.
We need to take a short break, but stay with us for more with Mary Crafts. Welcome back to Studio Chatter. Thank you again, Mary. Let's get back into this.
Okay.
So now we're going to leave Ukraine over there,
Okay.
pull our audience here to Utah, and
Okay.
you have a lot of knowledge of what can we do? What can we do to help?
When I retired from Culinary Crafts, after 35 years, I founded and worked as the CEO, also dishwasher, also hauler, also cook. I mean, everything there. I realized that I was retiring from my career, but I wasn't retiring from life. And that if I plan to live to I'm 105.
You go, girl.
Perfect, and you will.
When you get there, will you tell us the secret?
I already can tell you that secret, but that's another one.
Okay.
And I knew that I didn't want to just sit around. And so what was it? And I felt like there was a bulletin that went out to all of Utah that said, "Hi, Mary Crafts is retired. Call her.
Oh.
She can do everything.
And now you are. You're on
And
every
I feel
board.
like I am. I do serve on 7 boards. Actually 6. I got rid of one this year. But it's not just serving on a board. There's that level of service. There's being able to donate financially. And I'm talking even if you just give $5 a month to something, that's enough to make a difference. People don't think that. What could possibly $60 do? $60
family.
in an Afghan country could do a lot.
Yeah, and we have refugees from Afghanistan too that we're kind of forgetting about because of
Were you
the
saying that
Ukraine
you're
issue.
just recently speaking to a couple?
So let's just talk about a typical day in Mary Crafts.
Okay.
The
Let's
last
do.
24 hours of what I've done. I need my calendar here because it's pretty disturbing. But so last night, I went out to the Unique Foundation, which at Lehigh, which is now called SAPRIA, which helps vulnerable populations such as those people who are dealing with childhood sexual abuse. And I talked with another group, nonprofit, My Story Matters, who deals with people who are in prison. And I asked her, how many other people who are in your program, which you have 0 recidivism in your program, once they come into My Story Matters, how many of them were involved in childhood sexual abuse? And she said nearly 100%. Wow. So now you have that program, and then this program that's working with the survivors of childhood sexual abuse, but also now has moved to being SAPRIA so they can expand their mission and talking about defending innocence and expanding to preventative things with childhood sexual abuse. So I was able to connect those 2 organizations together, and that kind of work has been very meaningful to me. And so I went to that last night. Then this morning I went to a group I belong to called 100 Women Who Care. 3 different nonprofits presented, and we get to award them. And our little group, we each give $100. And that's it, just $100. But $100 when you come together with 60 women,
Equals.
it's $6,000, can I say? So think of the impact that $6,000 made. Today it was awarded to a woman who started a group called Joyfully Read. And she's teaching children and people whose language is not first language about how to read and how to find the joy in reading. Education is the way out of so many problems.
Yes.
And so she gets $6,000. That makes a difference.
Oh, that's big.
And then I came home and I did my podcast today. And so if you want to know more about me, you can listen to my podcast. But
That's amazing.
And then I went out and I met with 2 Afghan refugee women about how I can use the people I know and my resources to bring about things that they need. Right now they have 75 women in their hidden safe houses that the Taliban don't know where they are. But they'll find them. And they need to get them out. And how can we rescue them? There is another group that has operations, but it costs money to go in and pull those people out. So they need to raise funds, and so we brainstormed about how to do that. And then I raced from there to come here to you to talk about this. And then when I get home, I still have to get to the gym tonight. And
No, you don't. You need a hot bath and go to bed.
You have done enough exercise here.
But it's the way I want to live. It's the way I choose to live. I'm single. And I've been enough on Match.com that I am like, I don't want to live that way. I talk to guys and I'm like, so what do you do with your life? They're like, I golf. I'm like, and? And like, I pretty much golf 5 days a week. And when it's winter, I play tennis inside and nothing else.
Oh.
You and I would be like this.
Yeah.
You're about
You
serving
need someone who
and
can
doing
keep up
and
with you and somebody who has the vision of all these good
of
things.
all the things that can happen. So
Yeah.
I've been dating now for over a year. I'm no longer on Match.com. I'm with one guy for about a year now, and he gets it.
Is he keeping up?
how sweet.
He is. In fact, he was at
Really?
this event last night, and I was honored at SAPRIA. And when I was up on stage speaking, I looked down, and he was crying. Just with little tears, and he said, I'm just so,
honored to be with you.
Yeah. And I'm so touched, and he's not threatened by it, which a lot of men would be, I guess, you know.
That says a lot.
Oh, so. But he wasn't, and he's just inspired. And I went to Ukraine without him. But if I go back, he's going with me.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Mary, you're amazing. I just don't even know what to say other than that. Like, you make me want to be a better person. You made me last night listening to another podcast. I need to choose a word. I need to choose like what I want to do with my life. Because you were saying that oneness, like everything that you now do
Funnels
focuses
through
back
into
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if I truly am, let me tell you how this has changed my life. And this is a day-to-day experience. So right after I kind of claimed this as my new mission and vision in life, the very next night, John and I went dancing. We were out there dancing, doing our thing, bang, bang. And that's the days I don't have to go to the gym.
But I love it. Let's go back just a moment, because you earlier already said you're 68.
Yes.
She's
They
out
went
dancing, and I'm
dancing, and she's
watching
like, "Bum, bum."
TV in my jammies.
So anyway, and onto the dance floor came this woman, and she had this little wraparound skirt, and it was like, I'm like, okay, I hope that's pulled down enough so that we don't see whoop whoop, you know. And she was a little larger, and my thought went to my brain, I wonder if she looked in the mirror before she came. And then immediately I stopped. I was like, what does that have to do with oneness? How can I possibly be judging her and critical of her if I'm one with her? And it just took me back, and suddenly John said, your dancing has changed, what's going on? And I said, I'm processing, and I'm thinking about it, and then I looked up and I looked at her and I thought, how am I like you? How are you like me? What do I have in common with you? And I thought to myself, there but for 18 years go I. At age 50, I weighed 284 pounds. And I'm half of that today.
Wow.
And I judged her based on my old self. And then when I was on the dance floor, every time I saw her, I would smile at her. You know. And afterwards she came up and she goes, you're so much a nice person. And I'm like, thanks, you know. But it's that thought process is changing my heart. And how I interact with people at the grocery store, at the gas station. If somebody cuts me off in traffic, I'm like,
Give him a smile instead of,
you know what?
something else.
I've done that too. You must be in a big hurry. Go.
Yes,
You go.
yes.
But the fact that you recognize that about yourself and then self-correct says a lot about your character.
Yes, but what I really want people to understand is I'm not unique. I'm just me. I'm the little fat girl from a farm in Iowa, in a town of 250 people. If I can do this, trust me, anybody can. And the two things that they can take away from this interview is that it's never too late. And nothing is impossible.
Those are great words of wisdom.
Well,
and you apply it so well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a
It's
perfect
never
close.
too late. I love that in life you're still moving forward, making those change, self-correcting. You don't reach a point and you're done. You don't reach 65 and retire. And golf, but maybe some people, maybe that's
I
where
like
some
to golf,
people
but
find
you know,
joy.
I would just do it
there's other
occasionally.
things.
There's so many other things I can fill my life with.
Yeah.
I was recently interviewing with a company I wanted to represent me in kind of a national speaking platform, and he said to me, "Now let me get this right. You're already 68. How long do you plan to do public speaking and keynotes and inspirational things?" And I said, I don't know, you tell me, how will it look with a 90-year-old woman coming out on stage going, bang, bang, you know? And he goes, okay, I got it.
If people are still coming, then I'm in.
You know, I follow a woman on Instagram who's 85, and it's called Train with Joan, and she's amazing. She's 85,
Train with Joan.
and I'm telling you, I'm going to be 85 and train like that.
Oh, 100%.
Right now, I'm the strongest woman, even at my age, at the gym. I'm not letting go.
Okay,
But you have
we're going to wrap up,
purpose.
but I want to know what you're drinking in the mornings and what pills you're taking. So we'll do that off air.
It's all about what I'm eating.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's a whole nother.
What culinary creations are going on in
Yes.
your personal
Mary,
life?
thank you for
Thank you,
for
friend,
joining us today.
so much.
Thank you.
There's more studio chatter coming up. Welcome back. Wow, we've covered a lot of great topics today.
We did.
We had some powerhouse women.
We were talking about that at the
Absolutely.
first, and we
Oh,
really
my.
truly did. And we have some powerhouse guys. Wow. Thank you.
Is this Zupas? Zupas?
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
This
I have
looks
not had dinner, so wow. Okay, swimwear. Yes, I want to buy
swimwear.
a swimsuit ASAP. Really,
Yes.
like thick, yummy fabric,
And
well made,
While
well
we're
thought
on
of.
that, because she didn't tell us the discount code.
Oh yes.
And so we'll put that on our social media, but for our SF17 viewers, 20% off through May 31st. Use SF20.
20.
SF20.
Check out SF20.
Super, yeah, super great on that.
Yeah, it looks really great quality.
Yeah,
But
I
I
agree
love
with that.
the
The
design.
patterns, not just that, but the patterns and the fits. They
And the
work.
thought, like the drawstring and the
That's what you're
high
gonna dessert.
bottoms. Yeah, who
Cute,
cares?
cute. And I didn't know she like graduated from Spanish Fork High and lived in Salem. Just a local girl.
Right.
So cool.
That's so fun.
So cool. And then like Mary Crafts, local person as well, has been in our community forever and doing such amazing things. I was just thoroughly engaged. I told her after, like I felt enlightened, like she made me want to do more, be better, or just focus my energies.
Yeah, she
better.
can tell she's a woman who knows she's got a purpose and she is going places.
Yes.
All the time.
Yeah,
From
right.
day one.
And that makes her happy and fulfilled. But I'm like, hey, am I purposeful like that? You know, am I giving and
You
doing
do.
like
You
that?
have to be purposeful and
You do.
intentional,
Yes.
or your life is.
It can
It
be
is what you make of
mundane.
it.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then Brit was just amazing too. I feel like we just topped the surface of what she's
Yeah.
capable of doing.
It's like it was like
Branding.
an area that she says, I want to come on your show, and I'm like, great, let's have you come in.
But there's
But-
so much.
Well, there's so much, but yeah, I don't know even what it is. So what do we even talk about? Because
right. We're educating at first.
right.
Like, what is
so,
it?
yeah, I love that there's kind of like different tiers. You can just listen to her podcast, or you can have like her
The
website
teaching
and
classes,
like
right.
webinar, or you can do the whole package and do the photography and the
gives
the
you options.
library to have for your
Right.
for your business.
And like how she said, I think why is it important to show up? Like show your branding, your energies and
Not be
stuff.
afraid.
Yep.
Which
yeah.
I kind of got that from
Both
Mary
of them.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did too.
Just don't be afraid. Get out
Just
there
do
and
it.
do what you want
Right.
to do.
Oh, well, we
it-
had some bold, powerful women.
We sure did.
It was a
guys.
fun episode.
Yes.
Angela, thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
I feel like she's just a new regular. We
Yes.
almost need a fourth seat. At
Yeah.
the fifth, I guess.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. And thanks everybody for our Zupa's treat. Thanks for being here with us. We hope you enjoyed the program. If you learned something new today, please tell a friend about us.